Hello everyone. Sarah here. Thank you so much for joining me for my February 2022 card kit from Spellbinders. You know the drill. Let's get right into it. And I'm going to be starting with card number 1. For this one, I actually used the stamp set in this kit. I loved all the sentiments on it, and I love that font that they used. And so I did a couple cards with the stamp set. So I'm pretty proud of myself. As normal, I just never ever use it. They're just not my favorite stamps to use. For this one, I did heat set it with some of that gold. What is that? I think it's like Recollections or Rangers gold embossing powder, and it's really nice. It does a good job, especially with this really fine font. So I did that as well as the perimeter of the white background, just to give it a little more gold, because you can just never have enough gold. And then I just add some of the ephemera with the gold ferns or leaves, and then that butterfly chipboard sticker, making sure the glue is down because they will pop off. To finish the card off, I am going to use some of these beautiful sequins that came in the kit. I love this one. I love the rainbows in the background. I love the butterfly. I love the sequins. I love everything about this card. Really nice. Moving along, I did take this absolute wonderful, beautiful bird paper. This is probably one of the best patterns in this kit. I just love the birds in those branches. So I'm just going to stick that down, and you'll notice that I have a big thanks die that did not come in this kit. That is actually from last year, but I really like them. It comes in 4 of them. There's Big Thanks, Celebrate, Happy Birthday, and Hello. I think this is the 4th one. And I like using these. They're just really nice for borders. So I cut those out twice, one in white and one in gold, and I'm going to separate it just a tiny bit so that the white will show underneath on the right hand side there. The reason I did that is so that the Big Thanks stands out a little bit more. Without it, it actually blends with that bird paper quite well. And I did try with black, but the black was a little too bold. And that's coming a lot for me because I love putting black sentiment on my cards, but in this case it didn't look right. So just adding a little bit of white just makes it separated enough that you can see the Big Thanks and not having it lost on the page. For the embellishments or for the ephemera, I am going to be using that beautiful deciduous tree and add some gold hearts to it, kind of like apples in a tree. And to finish it off, I'm going to create these little banners using the scrap from the green paper and a piece of scrap gold cardstock, and put that right in the top corner there. And of course, I am going to be using some of these little circle dots that I use from my home punch. And I usually use scrap gold cardstock to create those, so I don't waste any of it. And that finishes off card number 2. Really like this one too. For card number 3, I am going to be showing you what I've done with the die that comes in this kit, and that is, I believe it's supposed to create a circle. At least that's what I'm going to be doing. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the demonstration or the suggestion card that comes in the kit does this. And you just hook the two together to create a wreath type effect. In this case, I decided to use one dark pink and one light pink, and just sporadically gluing it. I'm not worried about making sure that it's all covered in glue. I'm okay. I think it's going to be fine just to at least do the leaves and then glue that down. I'm going to put them on either side, and then I'm going to glue down one of these chipboard sticker frames. This is the black one. I just love dark black on cards. I don't know why. It just really appeals to me. And anyways, I really like how this one turned out because the background of the card is a very neutral tone on tone almost, with flowers on white. And then I decided to do a green fern inside the frame, so it really brings out the color. So like the frame is creating color. And then I chose some ephemera that matched the dark pink and light pink vines or whatever it is that those are. And then glued those down so we have the heart and the book that says something like cherished memories. To finish it off, I am going to glue these white flowers that I created. This also comes in this kit, and you have these really finicky little circle dies that will cut out the centers for those flowers, and in this case I did gold centers. It does take time, and if you don't have patience, do not bother creating these flowers. It takes time. You got to cut. It does 5 at a time, but you got to cut each one out. Make sure they don't get lost and flung around like which happened to me. So it does take time, but it pays off. It does look really nice, especially on that flower die, like the vine one. For card number 4, I found this beautiful wooden grain paper. It kind of looks like a fence with a blue fence. And then I went and found all the ephemera that matched this. So the florals that were in the vase, and then the florals that matched those in the vase. And I'm just going to add some vintage photo all around each piece, just so that they will separate when I layer them. It's always a nice way to make it so that each die will be separated. Or at least visually, I should say. You'll see that it's separated. The problem is that, well, it's not much of a problem, but each die piece does have a white border around it. So when you layer these on each other, they can get lost because there's just so much white. So that's just why I like to add some vintage photo, or actually any other lighter color around the border. I am going to prop this vase up with some foam tape, and then I'm going to put another leaf or branch behind it, just to fill in some more of that space. The sentiment I chose is "You are perfect," and those are dies that you get in the kit. There's a bunch of letters, and you can create your own sentences or sentiments. For each one of these, I cut them out 3 times, 2 in white and 1 in gold, and then I glued each one so that I have a nice layer to it. It always looks and feels better when you do this, in my opinion. It just creates a nice effect. You don't need to lift it with any foam tape or anything, and it just feels sturdy when you're gluing them down as well. And so that finishes off that card. Here for card number 5, I'm going to do something a little simple. I got the raindrop paper, which I'm going to say it now. Almost all the pattern paper in this collection is beautiful. Every time I say one is amazing, I open up the pad again and I see another amazing sheet. And this raindrop one is of no exception. I love the colors and then the little odd gold accent drops that are in there. It's just really, really cool. In this case, instead of using vintage photo, I am going to just ink around it with some iced spruce, I believe it's called. It's just more of a bluish gray color. I'm going to prop up the lady with the umbrella and just put it over top of that sentiment, which I can't read from here. It's way too small. But I think it says like hope, light, faith, something, strength. So that's the sentiment for this one. Very, very simple card. Sometimes I like to do some simple cards, and it's not easy, but in this case, it worked really well for me. I just love those gold raindrops. It turned out really nicely. And the pathway that she's walking on, kind of like it's a rainy pathway. For this card, it is going to get busy, but I absolutely love it. It screams Easter so much to me. Easter and spring. The floral background is just absolutely stunning. I would love to have a garden that looked like that. It's just so beautiful. Then I cut out these viney, leafy dies 6 times. 2 in pink, 2 in blue, and 2 in purple. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to stack them on top of each other. I'm just going to kind of push them together, and they will go in their own directions. They'll overlap each other in different ways. And then I'm going to take some double-sided tape and just, in one spot, make it so that they're all stuck together. I'm then going to turn into a wreath, but in my case, it kind of looks like a nest. That's what I'm going with, a nice floral nest. And I'm going to bring in some butterflies and birds to fill in this. And then once that's done, once I have it nice together, I'm going to glue it in some spots, and then I'm going to release that double-sided tape. You won't see it, but mainly because the camera's going too fast. I really sped up this video. But I'm going to take some anti-static powder, and I'm going to powder the whole thing. And that's just because the double-sided tape will be sticky in some spots. So I just want to get rid of all that stickiness. You won't see the double-sided tape at all, and you won't see that powder either. If it's there, I couldn't see it. So for the ephemera, or die cuts, I am going to add some butterflies and that bird, and then I'm going to take the sentiment, thinking of you, and I'm going to prop that up with some foam tape and ink it with vintage photo. I didn't bother inking up anything else just because it all was separating fairly well. And then prop up that beautiful butterfly. Oh my goodness, I'm already excited about spring. I just can't wait. And this card makes me feel so happy. To finish it off, I'm going to take some more of these iridescent sequins and just put them around the card to create some nice shine. Oh, so beautiful. I'm really happy with this one. For card number 7, I am going to be playing with that frame die that a friend got me. Was it last month? But I have a lot of fun with it. You won't see me do this because I go off camera and I cut it all out of the video, but I realized that the biggest frame it's larger than an A2 size, it seems, unless I cut my card base wrong. I actually had to trim the right-hand side of this frame, which caused a lot of problems because, as you can see, it's like a wood grain. So once you cut it, all those pieces fell off. So I had to really be careful and glue everything down and trim it. So I was kind of shocked about that. I thought that this would be a perfect A2 size frame, but it seemed to be a little bit bigger. I am going to ink the inside of this with that ice spruce. It's going to match that cloudy, rainy background, just enough to create just a little bit of a distinction. And as you can see, it is hanging over. I mean, you might have to pause it. This is moving pretty fast. But off camera, I did have to cut it, and you can see that the left is wider than the right. But yeah, so lesson learned. I'll have to figure out what I want to do with that. I am going to ink up all the rest of these pieces with that ice spruce. I felt like this color worked better than the vintage photo with the background of that pattern paper. And I'm just going to glue each of these flowers down on the bottom, kind of creating a windowsill of florals just sitting there. But because there is the frame there, I do want to prop up those flowers so they don't sag. And I'm just going to take some scrap paper, put it where I want the flower to lay, and then set it down. This is a nice, easy way of just knowing exactly where to place those scraps. And then you just kind of slide it into place so that it will go exactly where you wanted it before. And then just trim off the excess, and that's how you get those florals there. It's looking really cute. And of course, adding some butterflies, propping up with some foam tape always makes flowers and cards look so much better. To finish it off, I am going to add more of these little sequins just around the flowers and butterfly. Just saying hello once again, 3 layers, 2 white, 2 gold, and that creates a beautiful sentiment. Just trim that off. And there we go. Such a nice, beautiful spring card. Okay, card number 8, we are going very simple once again using this script gold or I should say golden script paper. And I was going to fill in a bit of that. I'm going to leave the card base showing on the top and the bottom. I'm going to then take a white strip that I heat set Sending Loving Thoughts, which is also in gold. And I'll put that near the bottom. So it's not centered, it's just near the bottom. And then I found some yellow dies that I thought were really cute with that flower and the book. And then I'm just going to add some more of these little gold circles, but this time I'm just going to use the 1/8 of an inch hole punch. And I'm just going to put them on either side of the book. Very, very simple. This one turned out really beautiful. I love when that happens, because if you really want to, you could just pump out these cards if you were in need, without taking too much time. Sending Loving Thoughts. Cute. For card number 9, as you can see, I spent hours, no, not hours, almost an hour, I should say, cutting out all these little flowers and the centers in dark blue, light blue, yellow, green, dark pink, and light pink. And I cut out, I believe, 40 of each. And I'm just going to cover this whole card in these flowers. I don't know why I do this. Sometimes when you have something that's just mundane, but it's very easily repetitive, I just like doing it. And in this case, I just sat there and I decided, you know what, I'm going to cut a bunch of these. And I had no clue if it was going to turn out or not, but I was going for it. And I'm glad I did it, because I actually love the background. It's really cute. Is it worth the effort? Well, that depends on the person, right? For me, I had a lot of fun doing it, so yes, it was worth the effort. If you don't have patience, or you're trying to make cards to sell, it's a lot of time put into it. And if you sell it for $4, I don't know if it's worth the effort. But if you love just being crafty, no matter what it is, then yes, it was fun and worth it. I'm going to fast forward this so you don't see me glue every single one of those hearts down. And there you go. Just fill in one more, and I got my nice background. I kind of segregated it so it was kind of blending into each other. I am now going to take one of those sticky frames, and I chose, I think it's off-white. And I'm going to stick that to a strip of that rain paper and just trim that off so that all you see is the center of it. Or you can see it through the center, sorry. And I'll glue that right over the center of my card. I'm going to use a lot of glue because there's a lot of bumps and you want to make sure that frame sticks down. And I'm going to hold that down and just give it some time to dry. I'm going to take some more of these chipboard stickers. I love the swans. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to put them in this card or on one of my cards, and so when I got this one, it seemed to fit the frame very well, and also almost seems to hug the sentiment, "You're never alone." I think it was meant to be together. It just almost hugs it quite well. And once again, get that block on there, kind of holding it down. Just make sure everything sticks. And that's that. It's a really fun card. I really like this one. Okay, card 10. This is usually when I start using up the scraps that I have already cut out, mainly because I will probably throw them in the garbage if I don't use them in a card. Because you just get so much pattern paper that what do you do with it all? What do you do with all the scraps? It can be hard. And for me, I find using scraps, even though the kit is supposed to be coordinating, they can be hard to make a card look good without it looking like you just threw a bunch of stuff together. This one card is kind of like that. It is busy. I like it, but it's almost on the brink, and maybe to some people over, of being thrown together. Like, there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of colors, there's a lot of styles, But because they're all banners, I kind of like it. It kind of just works for me. But when I showed it to my partner, they said it was their least favorite of the cards. So you never know. I think it's one of those cards that either you'll like it or you don't like it. And that is totally fine. You can't have all winning cards now, can you? But I'm happy with it. I like using up my scraps. And this design allows me to do it. Actually, this is an inspiration from one of the MFT designs. I just can't remember which one it is, so I haven't linked it, but it is definitely one of them. Now that I remember, I was looking for inspiration for scraps. So I'm just going to glue that down, trim off the excess banners, and now I have beautiful little banners. Now, sorry, this die makes me laugh. It looks like she's shoving flowers in her face, and I just love that so much. That's why I decided to use it with this card. Not in any particular reason. I just wanted to use this die, and it just makes me laugh. I don't. Maybe people do that. Maybe people shove bouquets of flowers in their face. I won't judge. If you love it, you do you. And then I'm just going to add some of these hearts on the top and bottom just to fill in some of that white space. That might have pushed it over too much, but oh well. Why not have a busy card once in a while? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just show you each card one after another, just to give you a nice slow close-up look of each card. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you've noticed in this video, the light seems to be going off and on and bright and bold. I don't know what's going on. I seem to have trouble in every one of my videos. Anyways, I had a lot of fun with this card kit. It's very spring inspired, and that was just exactly what I needed. I had so much fun with the different sentiment dies and even that viney flower die and the little flowers you can glue to them. Just a lot of fun. I do hope that this has created some inspiration for you. I hope that you've gotten into the mood of spring, because it is coming and it is going to be beautiful. I do hope that you get crafty or whatever you would like to do during this time, whether it's gardening, cooking, baking, or just being with friends and family. Please remember that you are loved. We are all in need of love, and please treat each other with the respect that we all deserve. So until the next time, I really hope you have a great, wonderful, awesome day, week, month, and year. And of course, until the next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.